let's meet our guest today.
You got it.
This is exciting. This is a great business, and we're anxious to talk to him. He's been sitting here patiently. Yeah, Ted Muscarelli. Hello, Ted.
How are you, sir?
Welcome to the show. He's with Muscarelli Auctions, and this is just a cool business. Now, I think your name says what you do, but make sure everyone understands. Tell us what you do.
Basically, I'm an auctioneer. We handle a lot of estates, a lot of antiques, gold, silver, jewelry, guns. We do on-site sales where we come out to the home and we do things right out of the house. Also do a gallery setting where we put together catalogs where it's offered to anybody all over the country can bid on our stuff. Usually do several big sales a year in the gallery, and like I say, also we're coming into the season where we do a lot of on-site sales.
Ted, give me your website because I know the things you do are on your website and people can see that. Give them that website.
It's Muscarelli Auctions at muscarelliauctions.net, and you also have Auction Zip. You can find me on there. That's the biggest auction website in the country.
Now, I bet you less than 5% of people know how to spell your last name, so you might have to spell it.
Muscarelli.
Now, I have Whistling Wes here with us today. He is the sales director for WSIC. And I have him here for a reason, because he's got a nickname. His nickname is Smalls. Smalls. Because what he likes to do is buy all the small stuff in your auctions, you understand?
Yes, he has become an auction junkie now.
He really has.
Auction junkie. He doesn't miss one of my sales. He comes out.
Wes, talk just a little bit about what Ted does, because it's not until because no secret, you and I like to smoke cigars, and talk about this stuff. And your phone is just a ding and ding, and he got this little bell that says cha-ching, cha-ching, and he's smiling as he's sitting there.
Another sale.
It's because he's selling all the junk that he's picking up. He gets this box of junk and ends up quadrupling his money. Talk a little bit from your perspective as a buyer of Ted's, how this process works.
Well, with Ted's auctions, you don't come across any or very little items that are lower value. He's positioned himself well within the auction market. I go to several. In addition, sometimes I can come away with junk, but not so much with his. He's worked himself up to the top. He's the cat's whiskers in that arena.
Cat's whiskers.
Isn't that nice?
Comes to auctions.
Cat's whiskers.
Let's put that in the book.
But
we need to put that in the book.
But it's an interesting thing, because there's an entire economy taking place in this. Ted and his team do a great work for the family. Help move some of the items that they don't want to deal with, add a profit for the family. They make some money. Folks like myself and Wilma, my wife, will come in and buy some things and resell them at a pretty good margin. We make a little bit of walking around money. So
Ted, do you find that most people do what Smalls does, which is buy stuff to resell it, or are they buying it because they want it?
A lot of it's a combination of the both, really. I like to have items that complete people's collections also, instead of starting people's collections. So I like to have.
That's why you the cat's whiskers. Is it? So okay, Ted. So let's. I like to ask this question. So let's back up. How did you get started in this business? Because it is a specialty business for sure. Now don't go back to 1962, right. but kind of give us an idea how you got here.
Actually, starting as a kid up in Pennsylvania is where I grew up, and nobody in my family did it. I just had a liking for it. Had a liking for the antiques and the secondhand market, and used to drive around. And as a kid, 8, 9, 10 years old, I would go and drive, and my mom would take me, and I'd pick through people's trash and then have a yard sale on Saturday to make extra money. So I've always been involved in the auctions. My mom would take me as a kid and drop me off at the auctions and come back and pick me up.
So you weren't an auctioneer as a kid. You were on the other side, and that's how you learned about it. And a lot of it's about knowing value. Is it not? Is that not a big piece of what you do?
It's the love of the product.
Okay.
Really?
It's all about history. Whether it's an old Coke sign or an Abraham Lincoln autograph, it's all about the history.
That's so interesting, because I wouldn't have thought that. That's such an interesting approach. Mm-hmm. So you find buyers that absolutely just are immersed in that particular that product, whatever that is.
Yeah, and once you get hooked on it, it's with you forever.
We're talking with Ted Muscarelli of Muscarelli Auctions. And, one thing that really intrigued me on your site was, okay, you do auctions, but, we were talking earlier about how things have changed.
Yes.
Well, this online thing, and what's this auction zip thing you were talking about? How does that work?
Auction Zip is a site that anybody from all over the country can go on. So somebody who is in Indiana can look and see exactly what I'm selling Saturday here in Statesville, or
But they still participate in a live auction. Is that what happens? So it's not like buying something like eBay online. It's it's advertising what it is you're going to be selling at a live auction.
Right,
That's pretty cool.
And they can call and they can be on the phone when the sale's going on. They can be on the phone with us, bidding live right along with the sale.
Wow.
They can leave absentee bids. When I do online auctions, they can bid right along with the sale. We have a catalog. I have Mr. Don Schweikert here, who does all my catalog and leads the sales for me. But they can bid from 10 days out from the sale. They can start bidding on the items, and there's pictures and descriptions and everything. And then they can also bid live right along with the sale as we go.
Wow.
So, Don, can you talk a little bit about that? Because I went to the website and I see these photos of just like hundreds and hundreds of things. Now, for a guy like me, this stuff looks like junk. I've thrown half this stuff out,
You
right?
can count on Joe. You see why nobody bids on him?
But I've learned from Smalls that this stuff is very valuable stuff.
Yeah.
Talk about how you put that on the internet and how you discern if there, in fact, there is any value.
Well, I've been in the business self-employed as a antique dealer and studied it and that kind of thing, and since I got out of college, and so people develop a love for these items, and value is determined by past sales results. We use a variety of options to determine value. We use the internet, which today is the way. Back in the old days, it was books. You used books to understand value of items. And so that's how we pretty much, and of course from experience, I know
that really is where I wanted to go.
values of, as does Ted and a lot of our crew. We've all been in the business. We all either have done shows or flea markets or auctions or whatever. So it's from that experience that you learn the value of items. Same for the buyer too.
Mm-hmm. You know what I found interesting is with Smalls here. He's never done this before in his life, and in less than 3 or 4 months, he really has figured out that there's about 7 to 10 items that he knows if he sees what he can resell them for, and if he sees 2 of them in a box, he's buying the entire box. He can make that happen, and he also has become very skilled at doing research on the Google. And honestly, that has changed the Google. And that has changed what you guys do for a living. So it gives a lot of people a chance to participate in an industry that normally they wouldn't be able to do.
Yeah.
That's correct.
I have my 2 little girls. They are 11 and 13. And they have their own little antique booth, and I'll take them out to sales, or they'll come to sales,
that's cool.
and they do their own research. Like, they'll buy it, and I won't do anything. And they go online and look and see what their stuff is worth. And
Interesting.
So it's kind of a neat
Well,
thing.
for the listeners out there, where do you get your items? How would people know that you are somebody that they might want to contact?
Basically, what I do is people will call. I'll go out to their homes. I'll look and
Is
see
it a
what
estate
they have.
sale? I mean, what
A
would prompt? What would make somebody know that they want to call you?
Go on my website, look and see what I'm selling. To understand the items, I give free evaluations.
Well, where do you get the items? Is what I'm after.
From-
I know a lot of them state sales.
Yeah.
Are there other? Is that the primary thing?
you get them from estate sales, from individuals who you've heard the term pickers, of course. You know, to where they go out and pick stuff and they bring it to me to sell, or I go out and do a lot of my own picking. So you know, to go out and find. Yes, sir.
So you'll buy your own stuff and
Yes,
then
sir.
do it as well?
Yeah, we do. We offer several things. I can either buy out a whole estate, or we can do an estate on site, or I can pick different pieces out to sell. I mean, we're pretty easy. I mean,
Give me an idea of some of. Actually, I'm looking on your website. You've got 5 auctions or 4 auctions coming up right now, correct?
yes, sir. Well, actually, I have. We just signed the big one yesterday for September 30th. It's a 3-day sale: Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Wow.
But to start with, we have Labor Day coming up, which is the Keener estate, which Mr. Keener was the founder of Leathercraft Furniture, and everything it was from $2 million homes, one up in Blowing Rock, one in Hickory, and it's all top of the line merchandise,
Designer
Cats,
stuff,
whiskers stuff.
Yes, and then we'll be doing one on a 3-day sale. I just went and looked at it in Olin. That the house is slam full, and then we also have another big major sale coming in Newton on October 15th with some really high-end artwork, music boxes, Tiffany and Company silver. I mean, it's a big estate.
And again, they can get this information by going to your website. Give me your website one more time.
Muscarelli Auctions at muscarelliauctions.com.
And Muscarelli is spelled Muscarelli.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about how you let people know that these auctions are happening. Do you have this database of people like Smalls out there that you'll send send emails to?
Yeah, I've been selling online now, I guess, for about 8 years. So I have that database that they get an email when I'm having a sale. Also, we have our regular email list that I send out to people. We do flyers. Use the I want a trade paper in Hickory. Internet's huge, and obviously on the internet, that's the biggest. Tool.
I just got a piece of paper handed to me saying that they're advertisers, which you know what that means, don't you?
Yeah.
We're going to hijack them on
We've
our
got
show.
a new sponsor.
We got a new sponsor. Congratulations, Ted.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Ted. You're a new hijack sponsor on Local Biz Now.
He's been on the show and he doesn't want to be, brother.
We've only got about a minute or so.
Okay.
Talk a little bit to me. I'm kind of curious. The Wes, Smalls is this new person coming to your industry. Is there a lot more of that? What's happening with your industry?
We're our crowds. We continually have new faces coming in. I really encourage the young people in my sales to come. I love to have kids there. So I really push for that younger generation to come. All the sales we have. Like I say, lots of new faces, lots of old faces. It's a good combination.
Great.
So it's growing. The industry's growing.
Thank you, my friend.